So we had the anticipation, and what happened was he did take a shit. The tree didn't hide the shit. He was pooping. There it was. Yeah. That was part of the episode.
I love that story.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, it was shocking. It was pretty shocking. I won't lie.
He just dumped out right there.
It didn't just dump out. It sort of flew out. It went. Yeah. That shit was horizontal, not vertical. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was. It was like a shade and Sharp dunk.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so we did a show earlier about our anticipation level of different January shows that came out, and The Pit was in the celestial tier. It was too good to even consider being the most anticipated because it was obviously going to be it. But two of our top three, Jonathan and I have both watched the pilot of the Night of Seven Kingdoms and the Starfleet Academy. So let's talk about that. Let's see if they reached the level that we were hoping for. Which one do you want to start with, Jonathan?
I want to start with Starfleet Academy. Grant.
Okay, go ahead. I want you to download your entire brain onto the internet about Starfleet Academy. Please do.
I'm really excited to do this. I've been thinking about this. I was really hoping we were going to talk about this. So, first of all, I saw the first two episodes, and I'm going to be mindful. I won't do any spoilers for episode 2 because I know you haven't seen that yet. But I'm going to talk about it generally. Some of the things that it'll make sense to you. Okay. So episode 1, the pilot was, I would say, at best, it was like a 5.5 out of 10 for me. Biggest disappointment was Paul Giamatti, actually. I kind of thought he sucked in that role, which was weird. Actually, it's sort of like when you go to that old joke about the restaurant where people are like, the food is awful and the portions are so tiny. It's like, not only was Paul Giamatti bad, but like he's not even really in the show, I guess,
like
as it turns out.
6 minutes of screen time or something like that.
And he's not going to be, he wasn't in the second episode. He's not a regular. He may show up again. I'm like, maybe he'll show up on the season finale and be like, but maybe he'll show up a little bit here and there. But much more than him not being in the show was, I thought, kind of a terrible performance. It's like they said, Paul Giamatti, do Paul Giamatti stuff. It is not. Don't worry about the fact you're in a Star Wars show, and he did
Star Trek,
that.
buddy. Star Trek.
Right.
I thought you of all people would know the difference. There's no Force ghosts in this universe. There's no magic.
It's true. Thank God. Actually, yeah. I like Star Wars better in theory, but I do appreciate the philosophy of Star Trek and what it's trying to do more hard science fiction-y type stuff. Yeah. I was really disappointed in the Paul Giamatti thing. From the first moment when they're at that trial in the beginning of the episode where he does this like evil laughter as they're taking away the parents, I'm like, what is this? Like, first of all, it's so bad. Like, it's such a badly written thought to have the bad guy laugh evilly as this poor family suffers for no reason, doesn't help him. Like, it just didn't, and he didn't sell it. Maybe a good actor could have pulled it off. Obviously, Paul Giamatti's a great actor. Don't get me wrong. He's in that Black Mirror episode, by the way, which came out last season, which is one of the greatest Black Mirror episodes of all time. Spectacular, and it is all about his acting. So, to be clear, he is really good normally, but this is wrong for him. Or they haven't figured out what they're doing with him, whatever it is. So that was huge disappointment, number one. I have a lot more to say, but I want to give you a chance to react a little bit to the Paul Giamatti stuff because that was our biggest draw when we first started talking about it.
Absolutely. What we said, for those who didn't listen to the anticipation episode, was that this sounds like a by-the-numbers Star Trek bullshit show that's going to be all campy and stuff, and I would have no interest in watching it at all if it didn't have the cast that it has,
right,
with Paul Giamatti and Holly Hunter headlining. And you said, well, maybe Paul Giamatti's broke or something, and he needs the money because why would he do Star Trek? And I gotta say, when I was watching the episode, I was thinking maybe Paul Giamatti is fucking broke. Like maybe that guy is fucking dead broke, or he owes somebody a favor, or he was on Epstein's plane and somebody knows about it. And I'm not saying that, of course.
Wow.
I'm not saying
that.
Way. I would not say that.
We don't
about
think
anybody.
that.
No, we don't think that.
Paul Giamatti.
But like somebody has some dirt on him because what 5.5 out of 10 for you for the pilot? It's a 1 out of 10 for me. I fucking hated it. Now, to be fair, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, I liked Night of Seven Kingdoms, and I watched them back to back. I saw Night of Seven Kingdoms, and then I watched the Starfleet Academy, and the quality difference going from one to the other. It's like being in a blazing hot sauna and then getting dropped in an ice cold lake. It's just like my body can't handle it. It's so different. It's so much worse. The acting is so much worse. The directing is so much worse. The writing is so much worse. Everything's fucking worse. Like it's just worse in all ways. To its credit, there's like pretty Star Trek things that happen. You know, it's like the nicely constructed set pieces and stuff like that.
Really nice.
And
I mean, honestly, the CGI is pretty good for a TV show. Like, it's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into it. You can tell. And there's some elements of like fun YA fiction in there that I can see. But I think if I'm going to watch YA fiction, I'd rather just go watch like the first Maze Runner movie again, because that's better than this by a lot. And it's like, I thought Paul Giamatti was a fucking joke. I thought it was real bad.
I know.
Holly Hunter, I don't know what she's doing either. She's just like doing her like, I'm in the command chair and I do it like curled up reading a book. Look at me. And then, like, I don't know what she's supposed to be doing, or if it's supposed to be cute, or what is it supposed to be. I'm not exactly sure. She's just supposed to be different in some way. I don't understand. She's supposed to be
wise. I think she's supposed to be doing like grounded wisdom, like old school. But I agree. It sort of feels like she's miscast also, and it didn't go away on the second episode, where now it's more Holly Hunter and less Paul Giamatti because he's not in it at all. It still felt like okay, but it feels like she's in a different show than everybody else is also, like Paul Giamatti was in the first episode, just in a different show.
Yeah, so I didn't enjoy any of it. I thought the plot was meandering and like of the pilot meandering and not that interesting, and none of the threats felt real. Like it never felt like anybody was ever in any actual danger of any type ever. Just like they're going to be totally fine, and nothing really got. It never really like massaged the muscles enough to actually get them activated for me. Like I was not intrigued by any of the plot points or any of the characters. The little humor character between stuff they were doing, like that female alien that was kind of flirty with like some of the, like she was really not working for me. Like it was like
she's like not really an alien. She's like a hologram, a holograph or something. But I know what you're talking about. I thought she was.
No,
really
not that
didn't
one.
Work either.
Not that one. You're talking about the holograph one. I'm talking about the one who seemed like a potential love interest for like the main guy.
I thought she was fine.
But I thought her like little humor stuff was bad and did not play. But
we do not like this show. Let me tell you something.
No,
I watched the second episode. It's way worse than the first episode.
Oh, really?
That's a 2 out of 10 for me. Like I actively hated that episode. Like I couldn't believe. Like, the only good thing now, after 2 episodes, that I can truly say is really good in the show is the guy who plays the doctor, who's the hologram doctor.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
He's funny. And by the way, in the second one, he's barely in it, but he's great. Like, they have this really great moment with him, and it's the only charming thing in the entire episode. The main character, which is this kid, Caleb Muir, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Not only is he someone I actively dislike him. In the second episode, way worse than the first one. By the way, the first one to some degree, but you give him a little bit of a break in the first one. He's like in shackles and stuff. He's still figuring it out. The second one, he's just a dick the whole time and says things that make no sense, and they just let him get away with essentially being. He's like in a military academy and like acts like he's the cool kid in class and blows things off and doesn't stand up straight and like, you know, just runs away when they tell him he has to stay and never gets in trouble. And like, it's like bizarre, like would never happen. It feels way off. It feels like we're watching a CW show or something like that.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's his fault. It may just be the writing, but I'm rooting against him, which is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think it is difficult for these actors to thrive with the writing and the direction of the show. I mean, look at Paul Giamatti, the esteemed Paul Giamatti. He fucking sucked. And it might be that he was phoning it in because he owed somebody a favor or was broke, or it might just be that he fucking sucked because everybody sucks in this show. Yeah. Like, this is harsh, but it's a bad show. I'm not going to watch episode 2. If you don't like episode 2 worse, I'm done. It's over for me.
It's way worse. It's way worse.
I would much rather watch Ponies right now. Show me Ponies.
I actually watched the first episode of Ponies, and it was pretty good.
Okay.
Like, it got good reviews, so I decided to check it out. I'm going to watch more. Like, it was good enough to keep watching.
The pile has been reversed. Yeah. So I want to clarify something, though, because I've seen that there's been some backlash to this show online that's about it being like too woke or something, maybe that just happens with every show now. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. What are they talking about that's woke? Is it because they got vaccinated? Is that what the problem was?
That is
the
not
Academy
the problem.
people got vaccinated?
No, Grant, you're very sweet. You're very sweet. You're like a little tree elf.
Is it because the main actor is not white? Is that what it is?
Because most of the actors are either not white or women. That's correct. That's
Jesus.
why. Like Stephen
Why are
Miller.
people so fucking stupid.
Not to get all political here, and this should not be one of our shorts, but Stephen Miller, who's like the hardcore, right-wing dude, posted an image of like Holly Hunter, her first in command, who's also a woman, and some other female. I don't know who the third, maybe it's Signataro, but a third person, like talking as an image. Just like, it's like, this is not Star Trek. Can you believe this? And it's just like three women talking. Like, it's like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
No, that's what they mean by woke. It's insane. It's totally crazy. By the way, the original Star Wars was quite woke for its time.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek!
Star Wars was woke because they allowed a non-Christian religion to rule the universe.
Star Trek was woke in the old days. Like having Aurora in the show, and then Captain Kirk kisses her, which is like...
No, I know.
At the time, a really big deal, right?
Yeah.
But this is just a natural extension of that. By the way, it doesn't matter. Like, it's 2026. It should be, no one should have a problem with this, but things are going crazy.
Well, I mean, let me comment on that a little bit, because I think that was intentionally, at the time they would use a different word, but intentionally woke. Like,
yes,
let's show people that interracial stuff is okay on TV. Like, that's a big deal. That was a huge moment in American TV history. They're not trying to do that with this show just by casting women and people who aren't white. Like, they're just casting people. There's nothing woke about it. Like, I was watching the show and I kept trying to think, like, what is woke about this? Is it because Holly Hunter talks weird? Is that woke? Is that a weird thing? Because she talks weird? Like, the main actor is like half white, half black, maybe? I don't know. Is that a problem for people? I guess it is. I don't know.
Right? I mean, I think that is part of it. I think that is part of it, yes. But it's I
genuinely thought, like, when there was the scene where the fun doctor was giving the people vaccinations and he said vaccination, I was like, is it because vaccines are woke now? Is that what the problem is? Like, I don't
think so.
Like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear that is not why I dislike the show.
Good point. No.
It's because
we dislike it for lots of other reasons.
Show. Yeah.
It's just bad. It's just a bad show. It is this bloodless, by the way, this is something you brought up. Like, you were never worried about any character at any time. This is what's happened to a lot of shows now, that especially branded shows. So like all the Disney Star Wars stuff is like this too, where there's no actual menace ever. Like, you're never worried about anything. By the way, even when someone dies, it's like, you didn't care about them anyway, because if you cared about them, they'd never let them die, right? Like, they always come back. It's not, like, there's just no real threat. And somehow they think this is a good idea, but it doesn't shock me at all to see, for example, that Star Wars, and I do mean Star Wars this time.
Okay, good.
Is dying on the vine, basically on Disney Plus. Like, nobody cares about Star Wars shows. I used to be a huge Star Wars guy. I am not anymore. Like, I don't give a damn. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie is coming out this summer. I don't care. You know, like, I'm not going to see it. I mean, maybe it'll get incredible reviews. I'll see it. But I'm not excited to see it. Like, I'm going to see Avengers Doomsday. I'm going to see the new Spider-Man movie. No matter what the reviews are, I'm seeing those fucking movies. Guaranteed. Star Wars, I have no interest in. At all. Like, it doesn't call to me, because they've taken this special thing, and I don't know that Star Wars ever was really about menace so much, but it was about heart, right? It was about authenticity. It was about relationship. It was about people having real rapport with each other, and you liked them, you cared about them, and it's gone this other way where it feels like we're rooting for robots, and I don't give a damn. And there's some level of that in this show, too. This show's trying for us to root for these characters, the Starfleet Academy, but it's failing miserably. It's like they don't know how to do it, and that's weird to me. It feels like job number one as a writer is to make your audience care about your characters, especially your main character. We have to care about that character. Without that, we have nothing. Nothing.
Right. I mean, that's a tough character to pull off, I think, to be fair, to a TV actor who's got his first main role, probably. Like, you have to have a lot of charisma to pull off the, like, I'm in the strict academy thing, but I'm the roguish guy who still everybody likes and is still the only one who can really get the job done. That's a tough character to pull off. Like, it's like the Chris Pine in the Star Trek movies. He pulled it off pretty well.
He did. Right.
Yeah, it's tough to do that, though, to be fair. But I think no actor will thrive in this show. I'm not sure if Holly Hunter is a thriver in most shows these days that she would be in, but she has no chance to thrive in this show. Paul Giamatti, if his character returns, guess what? It's going to be terrible. It's going to suck. He's going to be like, ha ha, I love evil. Like, that's like
I mean, really, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like so one-dimensional. Just like, I'm just a bad guy who likes to fight, and I hate good stuff. Like,
I laugh all the time for no real reason.
Yeah,
because I'm evil. Don't you know? All right, Chris, have you seen the show?
I have not.
Okay,
you gonna
have
see
you
it?
seen Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
I don't know after this. I have not seen either of these.
Okay.
But I do have a question for you both.
Yes,
Okay.
let us know.
Based on your take on this, do you think the rest of the general populace agrees with you? What do you think both the kind of Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes scores are for Starfleet Academy?
My guess is that it could go a couple ways because there's this I don't know how big the anti-woke backlash thing is, but that can have a big effect on those things because people will just not watch the show and press the thumbs down button.
I think it's too small a show for that to be that big a thing.
I think there's also the other side of it, which is the Star Trek is such a brand that has people who will just say I like it no matter what. So I think that it will. My guess is that it will be inflated versus what people actually think because they like the brand in a way. That's my guess.
There may be some of that, but I also think the hardcore Star Trek people are going to be disappointed with this show. Is my guess. Now, I'm not a hardcore Star Trek person, but there's a lot of dumb, bad fan service in this show too. Like episode 2, they keep showing you the name of the cafeteria is the James T. Kirk cafeteria, and they hold on it for a second to make sure we see it, and it's man, fuck you. Come on, that has nothing to do with anything. I'm not moved by that. I'm not. That's not nostalgic. It's I see what you're doing, man. You're doing it badly. There's a way to do it and pull it off. They're failing. My guess is that I know that the reviews, the Metacritic number is actually not bad for Starfleet Academy. I think it's a 64 or something. But my belief is that the audience scores will be lower than that. My guess is they're going to be more like a 5.5, something like that. I don't know. I'm not looking. But I got to believe people are going to be this sucks, man. Because I really went in excited about this, and I don't watch most Star Trek shows, but I was I like this concept. I can get in with younger people who are figuring it out. They're going to screw up a lot. We've seen versions of that a lot. That's done well all the time. That's, you root for certain people. There's bad guys. It's fun. There's bullies, all that kind of stuff. And they just have somehow screwed the whole thing up. What feels like really basic stuff.
Yeah, there was
I don't know why.
Speaking of that, in the first episode, they started a bully motif, and then immediately they just flipped it right away. They just took away the bully and made him good.
Well, guess what?
Right away.
Episode 2, he's back to being a bully for a little while. Why? Yeah. No idea. They hate each other again at the beginning of episode 2. They don't explain why. It makes no sense. They immediately hate each other. And it's what? But you were friends at the end, were you not? You respected each other, I thought. What the hell? It's very weird. It's odd, too, because the overall premise, Holly Hunter's character being the judge who, sort of went along with this thing. I mean, whatever. She didn't do it. Someone else was going to. But was the one who, sentenced the mom and the kid to this thing. And she's, felt bad about it and quit. And, she's been looking for this kid ever since because she feels so bad about it. I mean, looking, but whatever, has some feelers out there. She at one point says, I've looked for you every day for the last 15 years. And I'm we saw one of your days before you were hired for this job. You were not looking for this kid, but whatever, it's fine.
You were in a meadow.
Right.
Just hanging out.
I mean, right, really. She's hanging out, drinking milk. But that's kind of a cool thing. So she owes this kid something. So she's going to give him a little more of a break. He's going to be a little rough around the edges. All that makes sense and is a good idea. But then he's too rough around the edges. She gives him too much of a break. He's also rough around the edges in all the wrong ways. In the very first episode, he basically endangers everyone on the ship. And then he saves the day at the end. And we're supposed to think he's a hero instead of he fucked it all up. And all he did was put the milk back in the carton. He didn't create milk.
He displayed command potential.
Right.
Yeah.
It's man, I don't know. I just don't believe any of it ever, pretty much, except the doctor. The doctor, I completely believe. He's funny. He's he knows who he's supposed to be completely because this is a character who's from other Star Trek shows, right? He's the only one. So this actor completely knows who he is, and they know who he is too. They know how to write him. I'm sure he was a favorite before, and they really got him. And man, he is a delight. He really is. And everyone else kind of blows. You know, this has Stephen Colbert in it as the voice of like the announcements. I saw this episode has Britt Marling in it. A lot of people don't know who Britt Marling is, but she was from the OA. She's been in a lot of shows. She's a really tremendous artist. And I was like so excited. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Britt Marling. And I watched the whole episode waiting for her. And it turns out she was just the voice of like the computer who barely talks. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it. Like, okay, I don't know why I know why she's doing it. They're paying her probably a lot of money to just say very
more than
easy,
they should.
They
should just get a no-name voice actor for that, but whatever.
I just don't know what that's about. But considering the talent that they sort of did put together, it's bizarre how much they fumbled this. Like, Holly Hunter doesn't suck. She's at least pretty darn good. Paul Giamatti is often world class.
Yeah.
Britt Marling is just sitting there. And apparently they're just like, we'll just throw her over here, I guess. I saw Tig Notaro in the most recent episode. She had one scene, I guess two, and was fine, but not special and not a big deal. But honestly, it was probably better than most of the scenes anyway, because she was just like giving a lecture in Starfleet Academy and was like, you know, being smart. And it was like, fine. It's like, I don't know. It feels like there could have been so much here. And man, there's nothing here at all. The show does not deserve to live. The end.
Yep. Not watching anymore. Excuse me. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Okay, great. Let's move on.
No more. Let's not talk about that show ever again. All right.
Before I do it, I'll let you know that you're in line with the folks. So the critics seem to like this. It is an 88 tomato score, and it has a 66
tomato
on the Metacritic, and then the popcorn meter is 43, and the Metacritic user score is 1.7, which is overwhelming.
Well,
dislike.
That's like the woke stuff, though.
That must be.
That's gotta
be.
You think? Okay.
That's too low. Like, that's too low for the fan. Like, actually, I think I even saw that. Some part of me remembers seeing that and like going and looking at the comments to see, and there was some really ugly stuff in the comments. So I was like, oh yeah, that's so. To some degree, that's people coming in. Also, the earlier you are, the more you can influence that number, right? Like, because there's less people, the pool is smaller. But not surprising at all that overall those numbers are low, right? Because like the show is bad. The show is just bad.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's talk about a different show.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
All right. So I'll start on this one, and because I already previewed what I thought about it, I liked it a lot. I borderline loved it. I don't know. I would say 9 out of 10 on a pilot, at least, maybe higher, because there was no, like, I think they're doing a really good job of setting everything up. They teased a couple times where the guy might fight, but then he didn't. And, and that's cool. I think it's like, everything about it was entertaining to me without there being any payoff. And I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah.
And those are my overall takes. I thought it was done in a Game of Thronesy way, and like it was all very beautiful. The characters all seemed good to me and enjoyable. I really enjoyed the Baratheon guy. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Great.
Like I think that the main guy is Dunk. He seems to be well cast enough, at least. We haven't seen much of Egg yet, but I have high hopes for that kid too. I thought it was really good. Those are my overall thoughts. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see more. What do you think, Jonathan?
I give it an 8 out of 10 for the first episode, so I really liked it also. I sort of enjoyed them playing with our expectations around a Game of Thrones show, which, like, the pooping scene is a great example of that, where it's like you just would never see that in any other Game of Thrones show. It's
it's a little bit more jokey. There's a bit more of like a vibe of like, and I think that makes sense because they're not dealing with geopolitics. They're just dealing with this one guy's life. So they're going to make him more of just like a complicated protagonist, and maybe some humor will be part of that instead of it being like, we have to deal with like a swath the size of the United States of America and all of the politics involved, and we have to show you just the highlights of what's going on in each section. It's not like that.
For sure. No, it's like, it feels like they're going for charming, sweet, but still like, it feels like there's still an edge there somewhere.
There's going to be brutality
because it's
point.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We know that there's people are going to die. It's going to be awful. Horrible things will probably happen at times because that's sort of unavoidable in Westeros, right?
Yeah.
But it's taken from a slightly different lens than we're used to, and we're really ground level here. And I like that a lot. Street level, right? I like that. It feels really different than House of the Dragon, which is important. Because if this was just another House of the Dragon type show, I would really question why it exists. We really have that. We really don't need more, like you're saying, geopolitics stuff, unless it's. I don't even know. I don't know how they could do it that would make it interesting because we're doing one right now already. So this feeling so different really works for it, and yet we're still in that universe. So there's still a familiarity with everything, which works. Like you said, the Baratheon guy was like that guy had. That actor, I know that actor from a few things. He's been in Lovesick. He was in the Gentleman series on Netflix. 2 really good shows, by the way. And he is always funny and good and has real charisma. And he's like perfectly cast in this role. This role is interesting. And just think about comparing to everybody in Starfleet Academy, how like there's so much more depth to even his role, which I don't even know if we're ever going to see this guy again. But,
no, but he was
great.
He had great charisma, and it was really fun as a character. You don't really know what he's going to do with Dunk, right? You feel like there's some danger here for Dunk with this guy, but maybe he's just going to befriend Dunk, and it turns out he just doesn't really give a fuck. Like, is really what it ultimately is, which is kind of great.
And he might be a co-star. He may never be in the show again. I have no sense of it. I love that. I love that these characters are small enough that essentially anything can happen to them. Like, Dunk and Egg are clearly the stars, the overall stars, and they're not going to like die anytime soon, right? Because it's the tale of Dunk and Egg. Fair enough. But everybody else is in play at all times now, right? Yeah. Which to some degree is true with a lot of Game of Thrones things anyway. At least the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, and then that stopped being the case. But that feels like that's the case here too, which is wonderful because it just makes it, like you're saying, less predictable. And less predictable is really important with this kind of stuff. Like, again, Starfleet Academy, most of these Star Wars shows that Disney Plus is putting out, there's like a beat sheet that they hit every time, and it's like, we have this, then we have that, then this person fights with that person, then they by the end they make up and they're friendly and they respect each other now, and and it's like, oh, now there's a joke, and that's when that happens. This just doesn't feel like it's following any of that stuff. It's doing its own thing. It's got its own clear vision of the world, and there's a slowness to it, but it's like it's like savoring almost. It's every
marinating in it.
Yeah, it's like, that's right. He's just pooping right now, and we're showing you this because we're sort of letting you know who we are and like what the show is going to be, but also like we think it's a little bit funny, but it's also real. This is actually what this guy's fucking doing too. So like a lot of things are happening. I like it a lot too. I wasn't sure about the actor. I'm still not totally sure about Dunk as the actor. I can't tell yet, but there's like a gentleness to him and a sweetness to him, which I think really works for the character so far anyway. I don't know any of the tales of Dunk and Egg. I've never read any of that stuff, so I don't know what he's supposed to be. But I like where we're going with this, and I like the little kid too. I do have to have it with the subtitles on because their accents are a little too thick for me, but that's okay.
I was able to handle it, but... Yeah.
I struggle with that stuff. The overall, though, the show feels like just another winner for HBO. HBO just knows what they're doing, man. Like they just crank out high quality, true prestige TV all the time when everyone else is like trying to do it. Like, why can't HBO do Starfleet Academy? That show would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
But instead,
Apple does a pretty decent job.
Yes, they do a decent job. You are right. Those are the two places that you can sort of count on it. HBO is I would say the best of that overall.
Well, they have a long track record of it, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. And the same guy, Casey Bloys, has been in charge at HBO for a long time now, and it's just overseeing, this like amazing, service. Just puts out, more content that's high quality than anybody else. Because even though Apple puts out a fair amount of stuff, I would say HBO's hit rate is higher, and I think they just put out more stuff. Like that so far, anyway.
That might be right. Chris,
Apple's
I'm sorry for all of the spoilers that you've received, but
all I know is they're pooping.
Yeah, I want to give
that happens
one
the first
more
10 minutes.
Something to touch on is how they introduce us to Dunk at the very beginning. I think is very good. I think they do a great job with that at the very beginning when he's burying his mentor knight, and they kind of somehow they teach us exactly who Dunk is in like 3 minutes through that series of him burying him, his little speech, a couple flashbacks. They teach us everything we need to know about him, right? Like he's like this naive, like do-gooder type guy who's just been kind of dragged along for his whole life by this knight as a squire, and he's had it a little bit rough throughout the time, and now he sees an opportunity to maybe raise his station in life. And you can feel the character's motivations, and you can see the type of guy he is just with him on the screen alone, doing a little bit of monologuing in a way that doesn't feel forced. And I think that was good and impressive. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's often hard to have the character's monologue effectively in shows, but they found a few ways for him to do it. I think he talks to the horse at points as well.
Yeah.
And that also really worked.
Yeah.
And didn't feel off. It didn't feel like they're just doing it for exposition. It felt like, I don't know, it felt more like something that this character might actually do, and it felt gentle and easy to take in as an audience member. Really, it was very sweet. But you are correct that, like, we get a lot about him right away. This is a loyal guy who believes sort of like if you put your head down and you do it right, eventually you'll be rewarded. And that wasn't really the case so far. But
yeah,
he's like, so now he's like sort of like realized, okay, maybe I have to like take the reward a little bit, just a little bit. But like, I've got to sort of force it just a tiny bit for like, you know, all the hard work I put in to actually finally come through, you know. But you're right. Those flashbacks show you how big a budget they can really do, though, because those flashbacks were often half a second, and they'd literally film that, and they never use that scene again. And I was actually wondering, because there were so many of them in the very beginning. There's like 4 of them right away, you know, and that when he's burying the guy, and I was like, are they really not gonna? They did all that, and they're just okay. Wow, you know, it was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I think it also did a good job showing that, like, he's got this naive love for his mentor knight who was just a dick to him for his whole life, and like as the audience you understand that immediately, and you can see that Dunk still doesn't understand that, and that's kind of cool.
Dunk thinks this is how a knight is, right?
Yeah.
Like the knight is, or at least this knight was, but you know, underneath it all, he's
he's protecting the realm or
pure
whatever.
Heart. Yes, and so you know we must allow for his gruffness or whatever.
Yeah.
But Dunk just took the frickin' bad end of that for the last 25 years or whatever it is, you know, getting hit around and stuff. No, I'm really excited for this show. I can't imagine not watching the whole season at this point.
Yeah, it's got to really take a dive for me to stop watching it at this point.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like we've talked about this over multiple podcast platforms over the years, how there's many shows that have like a great pilot and then they just suck. And it seems unlikely based on the source and the product, and you know, it's coming from a George R.R. Martin source material book. It's not like they just wrote a pilot and hoped that they could figure it out, right? It's a different thing. So I have high hopes for it. Yeah. And what a bifurcation for these two shows. And now this was somewhat expected, honestly, when we were doing the anticipation show. Like my anticipation was a lot of hopium on the Star Trek thing because of the casting, and I kind of thought that this was a way it could go a lot of the time, where I really like Night of the Seven Kingdoms and don't even desire to watch the second episode of Starfleet Academy, which is exactly what happened. But I was hopeful, you know. But we've had the true bifurcation. One plane fully took off and went up, and the other plane didn't do as well.
I don't think first of all, I thought Giamatti, when we were talking about it last time, was actually a regular on the cast, was like part of the crew, you know. And so him being the big bad guy instead was like fine, but surprising. I was like, how are they going to keep him on the show? And then I was like, oh, they're not going to keep him on the show. Okay, I guess he's going to show up here and there, because like at the end he's like, see ya, you know. And it's like, all right, I guess he'll pop back in once in a while, but like that sounds boring. And then he was so bad that it didn't matter anyway. I couldn't have guessed in a million years that we would get such an uninspiring performance from Giamatti. Basically, Giamatti not trying to be in the world of Star Trek at all is what it felt like to me. You know, he's like, are we in the Holdovers? I'm basically doing my Holdovers character, a slightly more jolly, evil version of the Holdovers, you know, or Sideways or something, you know. Like, it was very weird. Very, very weird. Maybe he was only there for like a day or two, and so he like came in, they shot everything really quickly, and they just
like laugh a lot, buddy. Just do an evil laugh every time you talk. Just be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. I love evil.
Maybe he also didn't have a sense of like what they were going for, because he was there so. I'm really working hard, bending over backward to try and make this okay for Paul Giamatti. But
you're giving him credit for the history of his career, which is fair.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit fair.
Yeah.
So like, if he shows up for like 2 days of shooting, and he doesn't have a sense of the greater context of what the show is and the tone of it and all that, maybe he thought what he was doing would fit right in, and they were saying, great, we're moving on, you know, and he's like, okay, good. That's all I got. Again, he's been so good in so many things, and I again have to come back to that Black Mirror episode, which is exemplary and all about his acting. It's so fucking good. And that was just a year ago. So it's not about him. He has not lost it. He's doing a thing that I think he thought they wanted, or he just didn't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, who cares? The show is dead to me.
We're fully bifurcated.
Fully.
All right. Good. It's been established. It's been settled, I guess is how we're supposed to say that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is what we say. And I know I mentioned this already, but Ponies good. But Amelia Clark?
Not so good.
I don't know about that. I was watching her, and I was like, yep, this is what I remember of Amelia Clark. She always smiles. She smiles like almost the entire time. And then there was a few points when she didn't smile as she was acting. I was like, oh, it's Amelia Clark when she doesn't smile. Those are her too. She has a second gear. It's smile or don't smile, but nothing else. Like, it's just like she's like, or she's like, and it's really bizarre. But the show is actually good anyway. So, I don't know, maybe it might be good.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out.
I got a chip away at the work. I got a bigger play to rehearse. I gotta live today like I'm in the race. Show the world I know my own worth. Heavyweight to burden, I persevere. Been persevering since birth. Fight for what we deserve until we reunite Mother Earth. We're rewriting the rule book, rewiring our brains. Deep dive in the framework, yeah, we can be the change. Future's ours to claim if we